today we are going to talk about Gestalt psychology. This is part 3, where we are going to talk about Law of Similarity. This series I call as Psychology in Action, so that whatever is understood theoretically back in college or in your books, how can we apply it in real life on ourselves and on therapy? Right? If you're a healer, if you're a psychologist, if you're getting into understanding human behavior, this would be really helpful. So let's do a quick recap. I have done a theoretical understanding of each law in the first video of laws of Gestalt psychology. So this one, the law of similarity, is elements, that is people, situations, colors, shapes, anything that looks similar are perceived as part of the same group, even if they are spaced apart or unconnected physically. So even if you see for example, if you see a Indian, okay, in America, you would still feel connected as an Indian with them because you'll find that similarity of belongingness with them. Okay. Now let's understand even further. So if you see these gray dots and these blues, automatically your mind has divided all the gray dots are together and all the blue dots are together. This is law of similarity. Anything that looks similar, we tend to put them together even if they are physically apart from each other or they're spaced out or unconnected with each other. So, one liner to understand the law of similarity is we group things that are alike. Okay, anything that looks alike. So, let's see how this works in therapy. So, past hurts may lead us to see current people as similar to those who caused pain to us. Okay, so say for example, if someone raises their voice to you, we might perceive them as unsafe because they resemble a past abuser, even if their intent is different this time. Okay, so what happens in such cases? Your relationships get affected, your trust on people gets affected, and or you might easily get triggered by situations, right?
I have to try very hard to control my anger because my husband does not like it when my voice goes above this decibel because he thinks it's not fair and it's important to be kind even when you're unhappy.
For example, used to speak in a very loud tone. And I think because of my father's tone, growing up, always kind of rattling. So she really made efforts to kind of change that. And that's not easy.
Here you see how Ranbir Kapoor has faced abuse from his father. So even someone like his wife or someone close to him uses any kind of loud voice, it triggers him. It doesn't allow him to trust the space or the person, and hence the relationship gets affected. Can you see how the past is actually affecting the present of a person? How the person is getting triggered and is not even aware maybe the past is affecting. This is only when one gets into self awareness or therapy that they realize that the current triggers is not about this person. It is very much about the past, about the wounds that have caused them in the past and which are still maybe not healed. The first reason we as people use it is because of the cognitive efficiency. The mind loves using shortcuts, processing information very, very quickly. It loves to save mental energy. It doesn't want to sit, it doesn't want to overthink, it just wants to feel safe and protected. To have cognitive efficiency, to have protection from the environment. So, whenever there is threat that we feel as a human being, towards the other person, if we are feeling unsafe, what would our mind simply start to do is it tries to protect us. How? By making a cognitive quick decision. Cognitive means quick thinking, reasoning, problem solving is all a part of cognitive, right? Another reason that we choose this is because of emotional patterning, that we are used to set emotion patterns. Now human mind likes to put things together. It looks for patterns so that you are protected, you are safe, you are not going towards danger. Now, again, this doesn't mean the best decision comes out of it, but yes, it helps you to make very quick decisions. It is a survival mechanism. I have seen something like this before. It might be unsafe. Let me step back, or let me react in such a way that they don't take advantage like I was taken in the past. Now, how does law of similarity show up in our social lives daily? Say in religious practices, in food, in nationalities, or in appearances. The law of similarity can lead us to be classist, that is, judging by financial appearance. To understand this, I'll simply put that if there are these two girls standing in front of you, and I ask you that there is someone who farted, what is your first thought that comes? Who is capable of farting here? Your most quick decision possibly could be this first girl that you see. That is because we judge people by finances. We judge people by how they look. It doesn't matter how they are at home, how they behave when they are alone. It doesn't matter. It's a very quick, efficient decision made by the mind. So, what is the result? We start excluding people. We see them as shame. There is superiority and inferiority complex differences that are made based on law of similarity. Then, law of similarity can also lead to ageism, bias based on age. When you see a young person, you think they are active, they're full of ideas, they are creative. But when you see an old person, you might perceive them as incapable, not able to take care, especially in an Indian culture. We think that our parents or old people are somewhere who they are limited. They can't do things on their own. So what does it lead? It leads us to dismiss their wisdom, that you don't know better than this. Like the world has changed. So we dismiss their wisdom. Isolating elders infantilize mean that where we start treating an adult as a child. So a lot of times parents also, even at the age of 60, yell at their child thinking that it is okay to do that, but it is not. It's not a child anymore. It is an adult. That's something the parents need to understand, and law of similarity does come. To understand ageism better, there's a very interesting movie called Intern, which makes you understand that how, as youngsters, we tend to look down on someone who's old. Then there is law of similarity also leads why there is prejudice increasing so much in today's world. We have started to understand people like if they are from this culture, they are going to be thinking a particular way. So this could be someone, say, from the Sikh community, or this could be someone from the Islam community, or someone who belongs to the Northeast area, someone who's a South Indian, someone who's a North Indian. There is a prejudice for each one, that all Sardars are dash. Fill in the blank for yourself. You will start to get aware how strong your prejudice is. Islamic people are dash. Fill in the blank. Northeast people are dash. South Indians are dash. North Indians or Marwadis are dash. When you fill in the blank, you understand how you have made quick decisions and not very right or correct decisions about people, and how you see them through only that lens. So you never get to know the individual. You just have judged them based on where they come from. That is their race, their caste, their religion. So leading us to having more stereotype behavior, more discrimination, and sometimes even microaggressions. What I mean by microaggressions is we unknowingly treat them unfair or treat them with too much attention. So it could be unfair or very fair with them, where we treat someone, say, if someone is from a very higher caste in your eyes, like Brahmins, we might treat them as very elite. But if someone is from a lower caste, someone is from a Dalit caste, we might unknowingly start treating them very unfair practices, where we are not even aware that we are treating them in such ways. So it's time to start getting aware, where do you apply this law of similarity in your life. Now let's understand law of similarity through a case study. RS, a 32-year-old software engineer, She's looking for therapy for her workplace anxiety. She reported feeling uneasy and defensive around one of her new team leads, that is MD here, describing this person as rude, arrogant, and emotionally cold. So let's see this through a therapy lens. Over sessions, they start to seek and look for that what is this connection between RS and MD? What is the discomfort that RS is going through? And maybe with therapy, they start understanding is it based on assumptions and tone interpretation? Okay, the therapist invited RS to pause and reflect. What about MD feels threatening to you? Does she remind you of anyone, especially from your past? So when RS paused and replied, she reminds me of my school principal. Same short hair, sharp tone, and always correcting people. So, which has been a trigger for RS. What we see is RS has grouped MD emotionally with a past authority figure, her school principal. On more investigation with the sessions, we see that once she was embarrassed her publicly in school in front of all her friends. So her mind linked the visual tone, similarity, and created a projection that MD is emotionally unsafe. That's when RS wasn't reacting to MD, she was actually reacting to an emotional memory from the past. Once you're aware, she could separate past from the present and interact with MD from a fresh emotional lens. It takes awareness to know that the trigger is not only from now, maybe it is from the past. So while we are healing, we can reframe with them that not everyone who looks or sounds like someone from your past will treat you the same way. Pause the grouping, see the individual. See why are they doing this in the current situation. In the next video, we're going to talk about law of proximity and how it can apply in your own life or in your therapy practices. I hope this helped. Thank you.